गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। All right, thank you so much. Just enable others to share as well. Just give me a moment. Right. Vidya, I think yours is the first one, isn't it? You're the mute.
Oh, I'm on mute, sorry. Yeah. So my group members were not available today.
Yeah.
Traveling. So last minute presentation, I would say, because the way we're in the process of packing, you can see, we have to leave this place and yeah. So anything, I will need your support. Probably I don't, because I've just copied, pasted. I did go through a couple of times. Yeah. To share the screen. Okay. Able to see? Okay. So we received the TattvaBodha, the 11.1 and 11.2, verses. So going through this, I will very specifically stick to this. I thought I will give a thing of what we have done last week and then come into this, but I didn't have time for preparation. So I will just very quickly go into about what we have received. So this was what we were given, the Sukshma Shariram Kim. So what is the subtle body? So before this, I think it was Sthula Shariram, which was mostly of the gross body. So looking at from gross body to subtle body, there was much more learning that I was able to see. And what it says here is what is the Sukshma Shariram, that is the subtle body, is nothing but apanchi krita pancha mahabhutaihi kritam satkarma janyam sukha adi bhoga sadhanam पंच ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि पंच कर्मेन्द्रियाणि पंच प्राणादायः मनश्चैकं बुद्धिश्चैका एवं सप्तदशाकलाभिः सह यतिष्ठति तथा सूक्ष्म शरीरम. Yeah. So when I went into understanding what this is about, apanchikata pancha mahabhutaihi, and going into kritam, which is energy, satkarma janyam and sukha dukkha adi bhoga sadhanam. So again, coming back to the instruments, yeah. So that's why I'll just go from one by one. So here it says that which is composed of the five elements, mahabhutas, which we will come to what are these five mahabhutas, that is the elements. Prior to their undergoing the five process of panchikarana, born of good actions of the past, the instruments for experience of pleasure and pain, etc., constituted of the 17 items, namely the five gnanendriyas, the five karmendriyas, that is the organ. The gnanendriya is sense organs. Karmendriya is the organs in action. So when we put the organs in actions, they are karmendriyas. Gnanendriyas is basically when you're gaining knowledge from the sense organs. The five pranas, that is prana, apana, udana, samana, and vyana. The mind and the intellect is the subtle body. I was not able to get into much of the Pancha Prana because I did not have the time. So I will probably be able to talk about the Gnanendriya and the Karmendriyas. Um, yeah. So what it says here is the Sukshma Shariram, that subtle body, is of this nature. Yeah. Apanchikrata Pancha Mahabhutaihi Kritam. It means that it is also made up of matter only. That means the Sukshma Shariram is made up of matter only, but it is made up of finer matter like energy. So therefore, it is not visible to our eyes. Now, what happens here is he says that the Kritam generated, that is the energy that is generated or produced out of the Pancha Mahabhutaihi, is from the same five elements only. That is Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jalam, Prithvi. But it's not the visible version of the Pancha Mahabhuta, but they are the invisible version of the five elements. That is the energy that we receive from the Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jalam, and Prithvi. That is nothing but the Sukshma Shariram. That is the subtle body. So basically it is a finer matter of energy. Yeah. Now, Sukha Dukkha Adi Bhoga Sadhanam. Sadhanam, again, we are coming to instruments, which we learned from the beginning. Sadhana Chatushtya. So, again, here also, we are talking about the Sadhanam, which means the instruments of transaction. And here it is instruments of transaction is both input and output. In the sense, for receiving from the outside, we use certain, sadhanam, that is instruments, to receive from the outside and for also giving to the outside world. So Sula Shariram, which is the subtle body, is a tool, which is like an office, okay, where it's a toolkit or instruments kit for Sukha Dukkha, which is the good and bad or karma we require for the body. Yeah, we require as instruments. Maybe if I'm not very clear here, but yet what I understood from this is all the good and the bad karma, to acquire either the good or the bad karma. So to do good or to do bad karma, we need certain instruments of transaction. Now, what are those instruments is what we are going to be learning in the next stage, which is Pancha Gnanendriyani. Now, Pancha Gnana is five types of knowledge. I wouldn't say five types of knowledge that we acquire from the Indriyani, that is the sense organs. Yeah, there are five sense organs that we can use to acquire knowledge. And it says here five sense organs for learning, for receiving the message, for learning and also for receiving the message. What all the things I should do, what all the things I should not do for making my life worthwhile, meaningful, and purposeful. We use the Pancha Gnanendriyani. Learning is very, very important. So in the process, whether it's good or bad that we do, we have to learn, okay, if I've done something wrong, I have still acquired a bad karma, but I should understand from that. Yeah, that is very, very important. So even to maintain health, I should have the knowledge of what is good, what is bad. Therefore, the five sense organs of knowledge, therefore, the five sense organs of knowledge, that is Pancha Gnanendriyani, is very important. Just knowing that is not enough. Like what they say in this book, which I was reading, is that I know Yogasana. That's fantastic. But implementation of what I know should be very, very important, which then comes the Pancha Karma Indriyani, which is nothing but responding or doing. So once we get the knowledge of what is good, what is bad, we have to put that to use. We have to do karma with that. We have to put it into action. That is what Pancha Karma Indriyani. We have to put the sense organs into good use, into action. Then comes after this, we need coordinating instrument. Now we will see what is that coordinating instrument. So imagine that all of this karma indriyani, we are using all our sense organs at one go. So I'm eating, I am seeing something, I'm watching something. That's what they say here. You're eating something, you are watching TV. You don't know whether you've eaten, not eaten, what you have eaten. I have experienced this sometimes with my children, myself also. So therefore, the sense organs must be for you to select any particular sense organ to say that, okay, now I'm going to only watch TV. Okay, now I'm going to only eat. You need some coordinator. Yeah, you need something that will help us to coordinate and say with the sense organs and say, which is nothing but Manaschekam and Buddhischeka. That is mind and intellect. So once these are the coordinating and selecting the instruments. My mind will coordinate and intellect will help me select. Yeah, that's what I understood out of this. That's why when the mind is somewhere else, then you are here, but you don't hear because the mind does not function. Yeah, in the sense that I'm just looking at you. Let us say my eyes are on the screen, but my mind is somewhere. Then I have to be able to use. It is a coordinator, but I need some, the buddhi also. That is the intellect to tell me, no, you have to now only see, listen carefully to what is happening here. So this coordination and this selector is very, very important. Therefore, you require an internal coordinating organ called the mind and intellect, which is nothing but gnani, which backs up the gnanendriyani and the karmendriyani. So these are the two very important, Manaschekam and Buddhischeka, together bring in the working of the gnanendriyani and the karmendriyani for the good and bad of usage of the internal, the sense organs. Yeah. The sense organs of action require energy, which is kritam. Yeah, that's what we saw, that kritam is nothing but the energy. So you require something to constantly get the petrol, while once in a while you need to, I didn't understand this, I'm sorry. Yeah, require energy. You have to add food and it has to be processed and it has to give you that energy. That is nothing but pancha prana. We did see what is that pancha prana, but as I told you, I'm not completely well versed today. I'm sorry, I was not able to fill that up. Maybe in the next session we could take it up, or somebody can help me later on with this. So these are the 17 instruments that we require, which is Gnanendriyani is the knowledge of the sense organs, and Karmendriyani is usage of those action of those sense organs, and Manaha Buddhi, that is mind and intellect. Prana is that Pancha Prana. So these are the 17 instruments in the toolkit with which we can operate in the world. And that is, this toolkit is nothing but the Sukshma Shariram. Now, while I was going through this whole thing, I thought this was a very, very important aspect of learning about ourselves, being on this earth. I always thought that I wish a human being could come with a manual, where we know how to operate ourselves. Forget operating the world or outside. Like we learn to operate the car, or we learn to operate how to keep our house clean and etc. But most important thing is we have forgotten. I mean, we don't even know how to operate ourselves. I always thought that, wish there was a manual. And today, while reading this, I thought this was a beautiful manual for us to even understand how to operate ourselves at a very, very body level and at a subtle level. And this was my learning. Anything very bookish, but that's all I could present for today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shividya. I mean, you did take a lot of effort. So, okay, so let me just quickly, can you stop the presentation? Yes, thank you. All right, so for everybody over here, let us understand, because Shividya has covered a very important topic, which is Sukshma Sharira, which is subtle body. I'll just quickly take 2 minutes to kind of give you a backdrop of what Shividya was trying to say. Now, when you look at your eyes is a form of a gross body, isn't it? You can touch it, you can feel it, everybody can see it. But behind the eyes, there is something called power of seeing. Correct? Now, we may think that eye is responsible for seeing. These eyes are responsible for seeing. But what TattvaBodha is saying, no. This eye is a golakam, is a part of a physical reality. And from that physical reality expresses the power of seeing. So if you lose your eyes, nobody should, but if one loses their eyes, do they lose their power of seeing? If they lose their eyes, do they lose the power of seeing?
They can still visualize.
No, but so you may say, I lose the power of seeing, but no, if you put in another eye, exactly. If it gets replaced, you can start seeing again, right? So power of seeing does not get lost. The instrument through which the seeing happens gets tarnished, right? So what they're trying to say is that while this physical body is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, 5 gross elements that we spoke about, there is behind this physical body, there are 17 subtle bodies that is operating. And that 17 subtle body is also made up of subtle Panchabhuta, which is called Sukshma Panchabhuta, Sukshma Akash, Sukshma Ayayu, Sukshma Agni, right? And that 17 subtle aspects expresses through this physical body, right? So let me ask you, what is the difference between a brain and a mind? Are they the same things? They are two different things.
Brain is the
Hmm?
brain is the I mean, it can be I mean, if anybody cuts open, they can actually hold it in their hand. It is something that you can see.
It's
But
a part
mind,
of physical body. It's a
yeah,
sukshma, it's a sthula sharira. And what is mind?
that is sukshma energy, invisible thing from the.
It is another instrument that we have. So if you look at it, you spoke about pancha karmendriyanis, 5. So you have hands, but through hands, there is a movement. There is something that you can lift, power of lifting. You have legs, power of walking. So the power of walking is expresses through the legs. If you strengthen your legs, you will have better expression happening. The legs weakens, the instrument weakens. It's like this, that you have a radio through which the music is expressing itself. But music is a separate information that is Sukshma Sharira. Radio is a Sthula Sharira. You understand this? So just because if the quality of a radio becomes better, the quality of music also starts transmitting better quality of music. So we have to understand, but again, what scriptures are trying to say, that my mind, my ability to take decisions, which is buddhi, the emotions, which is manas, right? The memory, which is chittam, the feeling of I-ness, which is ahankara, the 5 actions, the 5 action, that is karmanendriyanis, and 5 jnanendriyanis, that is 5 places for which the perception happens. Say, for example, my ability to feel, my ability to listen, my ability to see, my ability to smell, my ability to taste. All these 19 parts put together is also made up of matter. So my mind is made up of matter. My intellect is made up of matter, right? My memory is made up of matter. My ego is made up of matter. My ability to walk is made up of matter. So in science, they say there's something called matter and energy. In scriptures, they say there is gross matter, there is a subtle matter. All right. So, for example, you spoke about pancha prana. What is that pancha prana? Say, for example, if the blood flows inside your body, so there is an energy which is running behind the blood for it to flow. It cannot flow by itself. That is circulatory system. When the food goes inside your body, the digestion happens. That's the digestive system. After the digestion, the excretion happens. So excretion happens through a physical body. But there's an energy that is making all of it happen. What happens during the death? The physical body remains. The sthula shariram is there, but it is still not responding. Why? Because the subtle body has left. All that 19 subtle bodies that you spoke about, right? Panchakarmendriyanis, Panchjnanendriyanis, then Panch Prana there, 15, and the 4 aspects of your mind, Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. So all that 19 parts leaves the body and the body becomes dead. So you have a gross body, and what you explained, Shri Vidya, right now is that there are 17 subtle bodies. Look at the depth in which they have gone. There are 17 subtle bodies. And if we know how to organize those subtle bodies well, that is what people talk sometimes about pranic healing, moving your energies, cleaning up your energies. They're talking about going to your subtle reality, changing your perception, subtle body, mindfulness, subtle body, meditation, subtle body, mantra chatna, subtle body. So they are wanting to work on the subtle aspects of our existence, which we cannot see, but we can experience. So when I move my hands, each one of you can see. But if I'm thinking something, only I am aware of it. So subtle body is something that is known only to me. Gross body is something which is known not only to me, but to everybody around. Is this okay for all of you? Perfect. Thank you, Shivadya. Actually, this is a very complicated topic.
Absolutely.
And with less time, you have done the best that you could have done. Thank you so much for making this.
Thank you for adding on, because I was really, this is more knowledge to me. For me, it was very bookish, but you gave more insight into the 17 instruments. And it's very, very beautifully explained that I didn't look at them as individual. I just looked at them as 5, 5 plus 2, 5, 5, 5, plus 2. But very beautifully explained. Thank you.
So I just would, I mean, though it's a little tangential from the subject, here when Vidhan spoke about the Pancha Prana, Prana, Samana, Apana, Vyana, and Udana. So how we are using our gross body, that is our hands, fingers, and all this, palm and fingers, basically, when a ritual is done. So you use your fingers. Each one has a mudra that will energize the particular prana. You may be seeing the priest chanting prana, apana, udana, and everything. Actually, they are holding a different finger with your thumb every time. So that actually triggers the prana in that respective thing. Like respiratory is prana. Next, it comes to digestion, that is samana. So when they do this, you're using your gross body, that is your field of expression, that is your hands and your fingers, to activate the subtle energies inside. So when they're chanting this, or when they're doing a simple thing like a Naivedyam, I'm just giving you a very, very, very common example. They're putting that energy into that by activating all these things in the body.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Uma, for sharing. In fact, you're right. But they also say when you do a Namaskar Mudra, that's sort of when you bring both the palms together, it channelizes certain energies within us. Great. Thank you. Let me just.
There's also one more aspect that I thought will be important to talk about, which is that the subtle body has it travels across lifetimes. So that is, I think,
Absolutely, yeah.
important aspect, because physical body will keep changing. It will look for another physical body because it's a temporary residence. But this, I think, they say that only through pralaya this body will die, the subtle body. So, which means I think more attention needs to be paid to this. Yeah.
Yes, Sapna, thank you so much for bringing this out. And therefore, they say that all the learnings that we have in this lifetime, when we are talking about manas, manas is all my thoughts, all my learnings. Buddhi, buddhi is by the ability to take decisions. Chitta, which is my memories. So it travels. It does not get destroyed in this lifetime, which means whatever I'm learning, whether I'm 50, 60, 10, 20, and that's karma, that the residue of all those thoughts, everything basically will move along and it will experience and it will inherit a new body. So all these 17 elements, 19 elements that we spoke about does not die after death. It moves from one body to another. So it's worthwhile taking care of our subtle body.
One question I have. So in terms of the Asha here, so in terms of the subtle body, right? So considering that it moves from lifetime to lifetime, right? I mean, at least from the physical body perspective, death is not the end of it. the energy per se, right? When we say organ of hearing, organ of seeing, you cannot strengthen these in any way, right? I mean, they are what they are. They find an expression through, I think, in each lifetime, the kind of body you inherit, the physical body you inherit, depending on what that physical body allows you to do or doesn't allow you to do, you kind of inherit the strengths and weaknesses of the physical body, but you can't strengthen any of the other organs other than, if I'm not wrong, the memory, the mind aspect, the basically the mind and the only that organ is you can you can actually strengthen it. So if you want to build something for future lifetimes, I'm just kind of, so nothing, no other organ can you strengthen other than these four.
You're
uh,
right.
right. And but there also, if you talk about memory, and memory is basically the knowledge we are acquiring over our life, we don't have access to all that knowledge in our future lives, right? It's not like I'm born with a lot of knowledge in me, right? I don't have access to it. Correct. I mean, the knowledge that I'm gathering today, right? So whatever I'm studying, reading, absorbing is all actually knowledge. It's not a physical thing. It's not in the brain in some portion I can say it's there, right? So but I'm not able to tap into that knowledge, right, in future lifetimes. And unlike the maybe the physical things, right? Physical things, I'm assuming, like if I'm born very strong or I have a very good constitution in my next life, I'm assuming that a lot of other physical these powers, the other subtle powers that we have, that can manifest in that way. But knowledge per se, whatever I read, is not really, I cannot tap into that knowledge later, right?
All right. So let's understand this way, Asha. Um, from the time we are born till now, we have accumulated a whole amount of impressions. And a lot of those impressions are actually working at a subconscious level. What happened to you in your childhood? What happened to you when you were in the womb of your mother? All the knowledge was absorbed. All the data was absorbed. You may not be able to consciously tap it, but that actually creates your thought process. So if you pull it further, so whatever experiences that you are having in this lifetime creates an residue, creates an impact, which is called vasana, which is called samskar, right? Which will influence your thought process, your personality in this lifetime. Because it works, where does it sit? It sits somewhere in called Anandamaya Kosha. I don't know if you will be able to do it today. So, and I think Suresh, if someone is actually covering the subtle, the causal body. So all the information is actually stored in the causal body. And the causal body creates the subtle body and the physical body. So whatever experiences that we have get stored in something called unconscious, which is referred to as a causal body, which you may not be directly having access to it. But if we basically become a lot more conscious, if we go through certain meditative process, we will be able to sense those vibrations. So the thoughts that you're able to experience are the one which is vibrating at a slightly higher frequency. Other thoughts are vibrating at a much lower frequency, but you kind of cool down, you become a lot more conscious, you get into meditative states, you'll be able to experience the other patterns, other thoughts, other lifetimes as well. Because the memory is very much there. It is not accessible to you, but it is still shaping the decisions that you're making at this point of time.
And also, Bidan, I was just wondering when Asha is asking about the faculties of, like, your eye and all these things, isn't it that what you are doing with this will actually determine how this faculty will be in your next lifetime? Like, how are you using these things? Which is also the part of karma, right? The papa punya, whatever we talk about. So that is the when we say specific and the general stuff, right? So that will that not determine? That is one. And the other thing of the knowledge that you tap, I just realized that some of these 10-year-olds are able to play violin, or they're able to do things amazingly well, which is very extraordinary. That means that knowledge has been stored somewhere and somehow you tap it. Like, how it gets there, you don't know, but it's somewhere stored. Like it's very unreasonable. And so sometimes I think you start off a little you pick it up very fast, maybe. I'm not sure about it, but I'm just guessing.
Also, yeah, to add to what Sapna just said, I think it's also, we have the three types of karma, right? The prarabdha, the sanchita, and the agami karma. So it's also something to do with that, right? The prarabdha is that, your past karmas, and sanchita is present, and agami is what you do
Sanchita
from
is all the
here on,
karmas
which will.
accumulated over the entire lifetime. Whatever is getting fructified in this lifetime is called prarabdha. So coming to the point where Sapna, you're mentioning about, is that as per what has been written here in TattvaBodha, they say that depending upon your karma, you're going to experience certain life situations. Depending upon what has happened, you have to go through certain life situations, and therefore you will end up choosing a specific body, specific family, a specific DNA, specific kind of life circumstances. You're going to attract that, right? So you have to live your prarabdha. You can't run away from it. The only thing that you can do is how conscious you are while you're living your prarabdha, and try and create not many more karmas, which is more entangling in nature.
So, which means the subtle body then becomes very important to understand how to utilize, first gain the knowledge of how to utilize these organs and then implement them accordingly is karmendriyani. I think now I'm getting the connect, after all this explanation. Very beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Any questions more we have on this?
I have actually, but I'll leave it for now because I think it's related to the comment you made on the causal body that I'll probably want to ask later.
Sure. So we'll wait for that to come. But hold on to your questions, Asha, and please do ask. Don't let it pass away, because everybody gets benefited in the process.
Sure.
And just to give you an example, when you talk about the flower, that they will give, when you have a flower and when you remove the flower, you still have the smell of the flower around, which is vasana. So even if the physical body gets removed, the vasana, the energy body remains, and that energy body expresses itself through another physical body. So that's where the name vasana or samskara comes from. All right, so let's go to the next one. Oh, I am not able to see the presentations. Okay, I got it. Thank you. A moment, please.
Yeah. So I'll start off.
Yes, this is perfect.
Yeah. So as we are talking about the tools and the instruments of perception, it's very similar to say, when the fire was introduced or the fire was experienced by us the first time. The first reaction is that we are confused, we don't know what it is, and those people were running away from it, and they were scared and they don't know what to do. But as they understood, as they observed, as they witnessed and understood the whole body, the energy of that, they could use it in a much subtler way and use it for their benefit. So all of these indriyas, all of that is used to experience the world, is a tool where we need to subtly understand and use it the right way. And I think we are going through that right now. And as we see the effects of all of this, not only in our lifetime, in this lifetime, in the future lifetimes as well. So it becomes all the more important to understand these indriyas and to use it in the right way. So we'll start off out of the 17 indriyas. We are talking about the first 5 jnanendriyas. So the first part of the shloka 11.3 is just the first line. So that is Shrot Shrotram, Tvak Chakshuhu. Shrotram means listening, which is ears. Tvak is Twacha, that is your skin. Chakshuhu is your eyes. And Rasana is your taste. And Granam is your smell, nose. So iti pancha jnanendriyani. So these are the 5 jnanendriyas. Now, even in this, as Bidan said, there is something called as golakams. Golakams are the ones which are physically visible. These are things that hold the actual indriyams. So like a nose, you can see the external nose separately, but really the smelling action, smelling experience is inside, which is the nostrils. So the external ones are called golakams, and the internal ones are called indriyams. And I was amazed that we go so deep into it. So you don't really need to separate out all of this and say this is science and this is biology and this is zoology and whatnot. Everything is integrated, and it so beautifully comes out in our scriptures. To really the smallest of the part of our body, atoms, nucleus, everything. So that's what they define in the first shloka. So the second one, anything and everything in our life, there is a god for everything. There is a village deity, Ura Devaru, Ishta Devaru, that is Ishta Daiva, that is it's an individual god that you choose, and it's your Kula Daiva and the Griha Daiva. There are Daivas, the Devatas for everything. Why do we have that? We have it for our convenience, where we can reach out to those Daivas which are there to really take care of that particular thing. Like if it is a village Daiva, so the Daiva is looking after the village specifically. And it's a Kula Daiva, the whole of Kula that Daiva is looking after. So whatever work that we do in the village, if you're entering a new village, or you're there in the village, you're building a house. So you basically go to that village deity and offer your prayers and say that I'm using part of your land, and ask for protection from that god. And so there are specific requirements for each god, specific prayers for each god, and specific purpose for each god. So that way, similarly, even for our indriyas, we have the devatas. So it says, Shrotrasya dig devata, Tvacho vayuhu, Chakshushaha Suryaha, Prasanaya Varunaha, Dranasya Ashvinau, Iti Jnanendriya Devataha. So for every organ, there is a deity. So before going into the specific deities, there is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 11th verse, gives out the significance of how these gods help you out. So it says, Devan bhavayatanena teda deva bhavayantuvaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaf parama vapsyatha. So parasparam bhavayantaha, that once you start praying to God, to that particular deity, even that deity becomes, what do you call, when you show the gratitude towards that deity, even that deity becomes feels harsha inside, feels very happy inside, and gives you the bountiful. So it says, our earth was formed out of the higher entities like sun. So these higher ones become celestial powers. Whatever is faithfully done to register gratitude to them becomes yajna. So yajna has the aim of pleasing the higher entities, who when pleased will shower their bounties for your welfare and safety. So the resultant mutuality elevates human life in every way. It imbues a unique dimension, making humans better, happier, and nobler. So each deity, if you're able to really concentrate and pray to that deity, given the situation, like the way I talked about building a house in the village. So for each indriyas, if you're able to really, in fact, in Sandhya Vandana also, it is mentioned about the eyes. The deity for eyes is Surya. So if we are able to show that gratitude and reverence to all of this deity for providing us these indriyas, I think one of them about the physical body. So as we come into this world, these are the gods which create our indriyas based on our previous karmas. How we need to look is already decided. How the eyes should be, how the nose should be. It's already decided. And then we come through that. So those deities are so for this. I would like you to do something. So just close your eyes and forget about all other indriyas and think about the skin. Just bring your attention towards the skin. What is that you experience? So you experience subtle sensations. It's the air that you experience. So Vayu is the presiding deity for the skin. So similarly, for the tongue, just think of just get your attention towards the tongue. What do you feel in your mouth? It's liquid. It's the water. It's the principle of that water. The Varuna is the god for the tongue. And similarly, for the ear. So for the ear, just keep your eyes closed and concentrate a little bit. So all of this sounds travel through space. And you can feel the space, if you really just stay with the ears. And that's the deity for ears. That's the Akasha. And then comes as you open your eyes, what's the first thing that you experience? Is the light. So Surya is the deity for eyes. And for the nose, interestingly, you have Ashwini Kumaras. So Ashwini Kumaras are the sons of Ashwini or Saranyu, and the father is Surya. So Surya and Saranyu's children are the twins called Ashwini Kumaras. That's for the two nostrils that we have. And incidentally, one of them is for the medicinal purposes and the other one is for preventive health. And Ashwini Kumaras are the gods for Ayurvedic medicine. So there is a story about them. They have a horse face and a human body. And they are, just for your information, they are the fathers of Nakula and Sahadeva. So this way, it's beautifully done. Where I mean, it's not done actually. It's the fact that these are the gods that we have to go through before birth, and they provide us all of this. And if we have finally, if we have something to do with those indriyas, the first one to approach are these gods for us. So I close it with this. If there are any questions, please let me.
Thank you, Shreya. Beautifully explained. I like the visualization that you made us all do. It's very nice. Any questions anyone has? Move to the next slide otherwise. Oh. Okay, this you should have told me. Okay, this.
I also lost. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I always feel a little short of confidence when I follow Suresh. I mean, he does such a good job of explaining everything, and then I always feel underprepared. Okay, all right. So the next shloka, just let me, yeah. I felt that this was quite straightforward. So let me just read it. Shrotrasya vishayah shabdagrahanam त्वचो विषयः स्पर्शग्रहणं चक्षुषो विषयः रूपग्रहणं रसनाय विषयः रसग्रहणं घ्राणस्य विषयः गन्धग्रहणम् इति. So if you look at the translation, the field of experience for the ear is the reception of sound, for the skin is the cognition of touch, for the eyes is the perception of forms, for the tongue is the cognition of taste, and for the nose is the cognition of smell. So we have covered the 5 sense organs till now, the sthula, the gross golakams, and we have looked at the sukshma part of it also, the indriyams. We have, as Suresh so beautifully went through it, the presiding deity for each of them. And now we are looking at, so basically it was, there was this beautiful explanation of how, it's like the PM, like, you have like the government kind of a thing. The council of ministers who look after each area. So, which is what the deities are doing. And which are the areas that they look after is, of course, it's quite straightforward. Skin is for touch. You have heat, cold, soft, hard, so many sensations. Taste for the tongue, different tastes, sweet, sour, salty, bitter, etc. Then you have for the eyes, which perceive shapes, forms. What am I missing? Ears, which listen to sounds, and the nose, which absorbs different smells. And all of the good functioning of all of these in tandem is important for our survival. Any one not working properly or weakening, and it kind of closes off that segment of the universe to us. Like if it is the sound, we are maybe with age, our hearing goes down, it weakens, or we are, say, born without functioning ears or eyes. That segment, so like the 5 segments that this world is perceived through, that one of them is completely shut off. So you need all these 5 to work well, for our, work well. So that is about it from me. Vidhan, if you want to add anything.
Very beautifully explained, Kaushal. To the point, specific. And there's something very interesting you said, and I would like each one of us to think about what Kaushal said. She said that these are 5 ways that we perceive the world. So if one of the sense perception goes away, that means that part of world does not exist for you. Correct? Is it right? Now, take it other way. If there is one extra sense perception comes in, there is a new world that exists for you. You understand this? Think about what she
Beautifully
said.
said.
Think about what Kaushal said. It has a very important thing that we need to realize, that why this world is not real in its totality. We have 5 sense perception, isn't it? There is sight, there is smell, there is taste, there is feeling, there is hearing. Now, if someone is born, suppose, deaf, for that individual, the world can only be experienced in 4 different ways. But does it mean that the world exists only in 4 different ways? For you and me, the world exists in 5 different ways. But can you use the same logic, saying that since we are only able to have 5 sense organs, does it mean that the world exists only in 5 different ways? For all you know, if you get extra ways of perception, which I cannot think of, you can't think of, you will suddenly start seeing a world in a slightly or completely different manner. So it's like this, that you are perceiving this world through a tinted glass. These 5 shades that you are given right now, and the world appears in a certain way. One of the shades gets added, one of the shade gets taken away, an entire new world comes in front of you. And that is one of the reasons they try and say that and what science says, that evolution has ensured only these 5 sense organs for survival of this species. But there can be several other aspects of the world that we cannot experience because of the limitations of the sense organs. Does it make sense to all of you? Which goes to say that the world has phenomenal possibilities. We are limited by our sense organs. And just to give you another perspective of Devatas and how I have understood why Suresh has beautifully explained that. So I have a power of seeing, right? A hawk or an eagle also has a power of seeing, correct? But the power of seeing of eagle is far better than my power of seeing. So the eagle has, say, 10 level of power of seeing. I may have 2 levels of power of seeing. And there may be other creatures, reptiles, which may have 0.1 power of seeing. So there are multiple power of seeings which is available right now. Against this limited power of seeing, there exists an unlimited power of seeing. Against this limited power of seeing, so I have a limited power of seeing. Someone else has a slightly more better way of seeing, but that is also limited. So against this limited power of seeing, there is an unlimited power of seeing. That unlimited power of seeing sounds very abstract. To make it a reality, there is a Devata which is basically assigned to it, which is called Surya Devata. And then they say when you pray to Surya Devata, you are effectively tapping into the unlimited power of seeing, as Suresh was mentioning, and therefore you are attracting then those things within yourself. So when they have spoken about 17 aspects, so then if I have a limited mind, which means then there is a unlimited mind. That unlimited mind belongs to the universe, and we tap into a limited part of it. All right. So these are two important things that I just thought I should just bring it to your notice, from where Suresh and Kaushal beautifully kind of put it together. Perfect. So let me go to the next one. So I'm going to send a chat. Okay. Yes. What was the takeoff for this? 11.6.
Me, Bidan.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to tread a path which I've never taken before. Thank you, Bidan, for your support. Like always, you're an amazing teacher for grateful to you always for holding the space for us, for allowing us to explore the space. I'm very nervous. I remember you were saying, do it somewhere, Manju, you will begin, and I'm going to start. So like, please support and give that push if I miss out something. Thank you, Uma, also for the support. So I'm going to be talking about Panchakarmendriyas. Okay, so let me see if I can manage to read this. It's Vakya Pani Pada Payu Paschantaniti Pancha Kendriyani. Okay, I don't know if I've read that right, but here we are going to be talking about organs of action. And the Panchakarmendriyas, which are the organ of the speech, hand, legs, anus, and the genitals are the 5 karmendriyas. These organs are called the organs of action. Now, organs of action is also called, it's also called the output device. So now, up until now, we were talking about Jnana Indriyas, which is input, which means it's acquiring knowledge. Gaining knowledge is the input device. So how we express using this knowledge, how we function in the world using this knowledge is the output device, which is the Pancha Karmendriyas. Okay. So what are they? They are Vak, which is organ of speech, Pani, which is hands, Pada, which is legs, Payu, that is anus, and Upastani, which is the genital organ. Okay, so now, like we were all discussing, every organ is associated with the Devata, because there is a Devata which kind of takes care of this particular organ. Okay, now here we're going, let's go to the next slide. Are we in the next slide? Okay. So,
yeah, we are in the next slide.
Okay. Pacho Devata Vani. So which means the presiding deity of speech. We are talking about the presiding deity of speech, which is Agni Devata. Then it's Hastayoha Indraha, which is the deity of hands, which is Indra Devata. And then Padayo Vishnuha, which means deity of legs is Vishnu. Payo Mrityuha, which means deity of anus is death, which is Yamaraj. And Upastasya Prajapati, which means deity of genitals, which is Prajapati, but now who is nothing but Lord Brahma. So how do we relate to this? Why are we connecting these organs to these devatas? So very often we hear this term like it was a fiery speech, a heated argument. So whenever there is speech involved, we associate it with fire. So likewise, fire is a very important element. Okay, so if you use it wisely, you can use it for many things. It keeps us warm, it protects us from cold. You can cook many delicious stuff using fire. Okay, but then if we are careless around fire, the same fire can cause harm. So with speech. So in any communication program, in anything you do, we talk about the importance of speech. So it's very important that we use speech very wisely. Okay, so the who masters over the speech is somebody who gains mastery over speech is someone who will get all the honors. Like, even in normal life, if you see a good orator, we kind of give them a lot of importance. So we kind of honor them because of just their speech. So, so this speech, the 2.5 inches of flesh, can either make your life or it can destroy your life. So you can also say it's more dangerous than a sword. That's why we associate speech to fire. And the Lord who presides over fire is Agni Dev. So that's the connection here. That's how we see it. Now, next is Hasto Indraha. Now, Hasta is nothing but hand, and we associate it to Lord Indra. Why? Because Lord Indra is Lord of heavens. Now, hands means hard work. Now, why is it, how we connect it to Indra is because heaven is a place of all comfort, pleasure, there is joy, there is prosperity. All this is present in the heaven. So, and how can you create that kind of heaven is by working hard. So what it means to say you work hard and you create heaven on earth. So you use hands to work hard. Okay. So that is why we associate, so who rules the heavens is Lord Indra, and hence hands are associated with Lord Indra. So that's the association here. Next is Padayor Vishnu. Here, we are talking about Vishnu. Vishnu is all-pervading. In the same way, if you look at it, he's all-pervading means he's everywhere. So what is the organ that takes us everywhere? It's our legs. So legs that's what takes us everywhere across. So, and also there is another factor here, which is when we are worshipping or when we are we prostrate at the feet of someone. We don't prostrate at the hands. So we don't do hasta puja. Okay, we do pada puja. So we prostrate at the feet of a Mahatma or at the Lord, okay, or our elderly. So where does Lord Vishnu reside? At the feet. So that's the association. So what we say is at the feet, that's where Lord Vishnu resides. Okay, so that is the association here. Now going to the next, which is Payor Mrityuh. This is about anus. Anus is connected to Lord of Death. Now let's kind of understand this. Okay, so what is the function of anus? The function of anus is to kind of removal of waste. So we all understand one day we don't poop, what will happen to all of us? Like, even a single day, all of us start a day in the early morning with shedding out all the waste. And if that doesn't go out, most of us have migraines. We have a lot of struggles. Likewise, so the anus is a very important organ, which kind of throws the waste from the body. Otherwise, this waste becomes toxins, and if toxins get settled, then that's like the end of it. So that is why it is, even death is associated in this manner. Okay, death is here. What they're saying is, once death is also like removal of waste. A body becomes useless. Okay, and then it's like it becomes waste, and we have to death allows us to kind of throw this out. And so what, another way of looking at, once we have contributed, once we have done our duty to the universe, then our body is no longer useful in the cosmos. So their death happens, and thereby it's like we are removed from the cosmos. So just in case if there was no death. what would happen? Like, say, none of our ancestors died. Imagine how we all would be living. We all would be like, whatever home we live, we all would be like a home full of people which we can't, like some of us live in 2-3 BHKs. Imagine how life is going to be all crowded, and so that is very important. That it allows space for new life, for creation. So, and also another way that I read while I was exploring, it is also that by death, we are kind of creating space for creative people. When we are done with our kind of work, we are removed, and then there is space for more creative people. Okay, that is Payor Mrityuho. And then, so in that sense, if you look, death is always a blessing in disguise. Death is removal of waste. And the Lord that removes the waste from the universe is Lord of Death, which is Lord Yamaraj. Okay, so that is how it is seen. And Upastasya Prajapatiye. I don't know if I said that right. So the presiding deity for genitals is Prajapati, that is Lord Brahma. Now, how they are associating this, when I say in the writings, or is that who is the creator? So creator is Lord Brahma. So, and the genital organs are used for procreation, which means life is created. So, and hence Lord Brahma, who's the creator of the universe. So Lord Brahma is also called as Chaturmukha. Chaturmukha means he has 4 heads, which represents the 4 heads here of Brahmaji represents 4 Vedas. Vedas means what? It's knowledge. So knowledge is very important for us to create something. So that is why Brahmaji is married to goddess Saraswati. So Saraswati is a goddess of learning. So in order to create something, one must always have knowledge. That's how they are associated. So for procreation, that is, which is creation, there should always be knowledge, and hence Brahmaji. So the next one is, okay, these are the karma. Wait. Okay, so when we talk about the organs here, we are referring to not the actual physical, and like Bidan was saying, it's not the physical organs, but we are talking about the ability of these organs. We are not talking about like just the physical, the hand, the genitals, or the the pada. We are talking about the ability that each of these organs have. That is the subtle body. There's because the physical hand becomes the golaka, like how Bidan was mentioning. So now we go to the next slide, where we are going to talk about what is the functions of karmendriyas. Now, vacho vishayaha. Okay, Bashin, I don't know how to read it, but we're going to talk about what is the function of speech. Okay, the function of speech is to speak. Paniyo vishayaha, which means the function of hands. Here we are referring to hands, which the function of the hands is to grasp things. Now, padayor vishnuha, which means we are talking about motion. Function of legs is mobility, movement. Okay, payo vishayaha, malayagya. I'm sorry.
Malatyagaha.
Malatyagaha. Okay, thank you, Uma.
Payor vishayaha malatyagaha.
Thank you. So this means excretion of waste material from the body, which is the function of the anus. Here we are talking about the function of anus. Then upastasya
vishayaha ananda iti.
Ananda in entry. So thank you. So the function of genital organs here we are talking is ananda. So why ananda? Here there are 2 types of ananda that they are talking about. one is, of course, the sexual pleasure. And the second one is the pleasure of seeing one's own offspring. Okay, so that is the children. So why is that we all love our children? Why is that children makes us so happy is because we all know that our body is going to perish away, but how are we going to exist? We are going to exist through our children. So our children is who we are going to leave behind, and that is why when there is in the obituary column, when we read the obituary column, that we'll say so and so, say if person A is survived by the children name used. Usually what that means is, like, I continue to exist through my children. That is why children make us so happy. That is why, because we've created them, it's our own extension. We feel like we are existing forever through our children. Okay, so that is why we are attached to our children. Yeah. So that is what Ananda is. That gives us a lot of joy, that the fact that we continue to exist. So Ananda is about two aspects. That is about the sexual pleasure, and also we continue to exist through our children. That's about the genital organs. So these are the functions of the Pancha Karmendriyas, which is the output device. With that, I think Uma has just put together all the slides, the last slide, wherein there's a snapshot of organs of action. Speech is Vahini, which is about speaking. Hands, Lord Indra, which is grasping. Legs is Lord Vishnu. For movement, locomotion, anus is Yamaraj, which is elimination of waste. Genitals is Prajapati, Lord Brahma, which is for procreation. So these are the Pancha Karmendriyas, the organs of action. With that, I have come to the end of my presentation. Yes, thank you.
Amazing. So nicely done.
Thank you, Vidhan.
Right. Great. We had a great presentation today. I'll just do the prayers, and people who want to stay back and ask questions, please feel free to do that as well. Uma, would you want to just say the prayers?
Yeah. Smriti Puranam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Om Purnamada Purnamida Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you so much. Any questions?
Beautiful, Manju. It didn't look like first time you were treading the path.
Thank you. It's the support of the group. And of course, you and Vidhan in this space. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Great. Since we have no further questions, I'm going to post this in the group now. You're all on YouTube now. Feel free to watch whatever you have said, whatever I have said at your convenience.
Vidhan, I have something to add or ask or clarify. Sapna was mentioning about, the pancha, I think Asha was asking that question, how, the subtle body, why is it important that, how we experience the power? So somewhere while exploring this, I read about the prarabdha karma, which is what gives power to the organs. It's not the physical body, but if there is eyes, there is the power behind the eyes. That power, how we acquire, is dependent on our prarabdha karma. So that is what I read. So how powerful our organs are going to be in this life is going to be dependent on our prarabdha karma, which I believe is something that is carried forward. Hence, if we need to strengthen and keep all our organs functioning in a good thing, we kind of, my understanding was, we always work towards like doing, if not the good karmas, like how we are going to use these organs in the life that we have acquired. Is my understanding right? Or
so this karma business is a little complicated.
Okay.
Because what happens is that we put everything to karma and say that because of certain karmic potentialities we acquire a certain kind of a subtle body, and that subtle body also leads to a physical body. So that's what has been stated, that whatever we have done in our previous lifetimes, then so we have created karmas. That is called sanchita karma. So we have created a whole lot of karmas, which is there in the cloud, right? A part of that karma, which we have created, needs to be exhausted in this lifetime. Correct? A part of that karma has to be exhausted in this lifetime. When do you mean by part of karma? Means a part of my wirings that I have acquired, the thoughts, the behavior, the actions. So all that has to be exhausted in this lifetime. Now, to exhaust that in this lifetime, you need a physical body. Correct? To express it through the physical body, so every karma requires a certain kind of a physical body, or every subtle body. So your karma basically is an information, right? That basically is supposed to express itself in this lifetime. And how it will express itself? It will express itself either through your subtle body and your physical body. So your karma is basically the information that creates, or that kind of molds your subtle body. And then that subtle body will basically need to express itself through a physical body. So it will choose a kind of a physical body which needs to be expressed. So that is what it is meant by that your karma decides your subtle body, it decides your. So for all you know that if at all you have done a lot of meditation in your previous life, I'm just taking so you have built a certain karmic potential of having a meditative lifestyle. So if you have to express your meditative lifestyles in this lifetime, right? So you need a specific kind of a family situation. You need a specific kind of a physical body. You need a specific kind of demeanor around you. So you need a specific kind of the circumstances where you absorb information. So those things basically end up making you choose a certain subtle body and a subtle gross body. So whatever has been done needs to be expressed in this lifetime. And if it has to be expressed in this lifetime, it will be expressed through your subtle body and your physical body. So your karma is that information which binds everything together.
By information or thing, you're talking about the vrittis that are created, is it?
Vrittis. So those
So
vrittis,
how does, can you just extrapolate this to vasanas? So where
are basically
what you accumulate now?
Yes.
Okay.
So vasanas you have been accumulating, you have already accumulated. Right? Vasana is your tendency.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's like two kids who are born as an identical twins will end up having different vasanas for all you know, and they will end up behaving slightly different.
So depending on the vrittis that has been created over one or how many hour it is there.
Your vrittis are a function of your vasanas. So vrittis.
Okay. Yeah, now I got it. Yeah, vrittis are the function of the vasanas. Okay. So depending on the vritti, one tends to get the subtle body and the gross body and all that.
So your vasana is basically the bigger aspect, which is a function of your karma. Your karma leaves a vasana. From that vasana's vrittis.
Vritti is created. Okay.
And from that vrittis, your subtle body, gross body, and this is the reality. Experience. Great then.
Vidhan, I had a doubt.
Yes, sure.
We talked about 17 Sukshma Shariras,
Yes.
but once or twice you said 19. So which are the two that I have missed?
So, see, Panch Karmendriyanis we spoke about.
Yeah.
Panch Jnanendriyas we spoke about. Panch Pranas we spoke about.
Right.
That comes to 15.
Yeah.
Then what you spoke about are two, which is Manas and Buddhi.
Yeah.
That comes to 17.
Right.
In some other places, they add two more.
Okay.
This is Chitta and Ahankara.
Oh.
Chitta is your memory,
Yes.
and Ahankara is the feeling of self.
I-ness.
Nice.
Okay. All right.
Right? In some places, they only consider 17. In some places, they have 19. So that's okay. Even if you have said 17, I just added two more because at some point of time, you will see when we are going to talk about Antahkarana, then they will talk about these four aspects of our mind.
The I-ness, the Ahankara is going to, if I look at it, it's going to die with the Sthula Sharira, won't it?
No.
It won't?
No.
Ooh. Really?
No.
Okay.
It will not.
But isn't it a function of the mind?
Yes.
But then
it's a part of the mind.
Specific to one particular Sharira that we are like that Ahankara is not particular to this Sharira?
Because of Ahankara, you feel that you are identified with this body and mind. Because of I-ness. So till the time I-ness is there, every time you get born in a physical body, you will feel you are that body. Except you are not the body, you are the consciousness.
Oh.
Because of that I thought you get identified with the body.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, Vidhan.
Thank you. See you next week.
Yeah, thank you, Vidhan. Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.